Here we are at Tract 15 at Whitetail Crossing, right here on the private road. We're parked right in front of the property. This is probably the most private tract out here. It's at the very end of this private dead-end road, which is only for property owners. So as we look to the north, that's Tract 15 on the right. This is a nice wide road. Good access, generally with a car or a truck. If we've had heavy rain, then you probably want something with a little bit of clearance. It is a gravel road, but days like today, you could drive out here in anything at all. You can see the road it does dead end right here. This is the south end of Whitetail Crossing, so no through traffic whatsoever. You're at the very end. I was able to walk around this property a little bit before the road was finished, where I'm parked right now, and this property has some of the nicest, biggest timber that I have seen on any of the properties we own. I'll go back just a little bit so you can kind of get an idea about what I'm talking about. The property is basically level at the road, and then it slopes down gently and then back up again. So there's nothing steep here on Tract 15. It's wide enough that you can build basically whatever you want and still have plenty of room for a huge yard on each side. And then it goes back to the east for quite a distance. So if you want ultimate privacy, I mean, you can go back several hundred yards on this property to build or camp, and no one will know you're there. That's the kind of camping I like. That's actually the kind of cabin site I like as well, is something just totally secluded. And now we're getting back into where you can really start to see the big commercial sized timber. Since this property is basically rectangular, kind of a, I don't want to say long and thin, because it's not a thin property. It's I believe a couple hundred feet north to south, but it does go back to the east quite a bit. So that would lend itself well to, if you're a hunter, for a huge, very long shooting lane. I know up in Minnesota, that's what all the guys would do. They'd buy their property and they'd right away clear a shooting lane where they could put their deer stand and watch the deer cross over. It'd also be great if you are into four-wheeling or hiking. If you made a circular trail toward the east side of this property and back again, I mean, you'd have at least a quarter-mile trail, half-mile trail. I'm not sure, but that's pretty unique in a property this size. Usually you'd have to get 40 or 80 acres to have that kind of a long trail or a track. We're looking at some really big oak trees here, and I can see them on the other side too. Unfortunately, I'm shooting right into the sun, so they look really dark, but they're beautiful. I mean, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Just from where I am, I can see about 8 oak trees that are a good, probably 20 inches in diameter, some are more. So those are high dollar trees. These look like white oak, and white oak is especially high. Has been for the last few years. So of course, with that, this would be the time that I mentioned that after the property's been paid for in full, you are free to cut the trees, harvest the trees, sell the trees and have someone else cut them, or let them grow obviously and just leave them where they are after the property's been paid for in full. While you're still making payments, you can't cut the mature timber, can't sell it, nothing like that. But once it's been paid for in full, they are yours to use as you see fit. And there's some good timber value on this one. Now people ask us, what if my building site has some big trees that have to go? Well, that's a different story. We can definitely grant written permission for that. for building sites and trails and whatnot. Really nice property. I could keep walking back to the east, but I'm going to cut this short today. Like I said, it slopes down. You can see kind of the lowest part right there, and then it slopes gently back up. Excellent for building, super private, great for camping, recreation. We're very close to Mountain View, Missouri, Willow Springs, Missouri. We're not too far out of West Plains, Missouri. So this is one of those rare properties that is secluded and private and peaceful, but I mean, you're within 20 minutes of several usable little towns here in the Ozarks, which is pretty great. Tract 15 at Whitetail Crossing.